My philosophy is also is if we're going to do something, we're going to sink our teeth in it.
Hey guys, it's your girl Ashley Graham, and you are listening to Business, Life, and Coffee podcast with your boy Joey Price.
Thank you for joining another episode of the Business, Life, and Coffee podcast. This week we are joined by Chef Charles, who is an awesome 8-time Culinary Olympian award winner, author, producer, and inspirational speaker. He's got a new book called The Recipe, a story of loss, love, and the ingredients of greatness. Chef Charles, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and I'm so proud to be here, Joey. Thank you for having me.
Now, Chef, do you go by Chef Charles? Do you go by Chef? How should I relate with you as we have our conversation?
Well, I'm called a lot of things. Whatever is most comfortable with you. Charles is fine, and Chef is fine. Whatever is easiest.
Okay, all right, Chef. We'll go with Chef.
All right.
I'm on your website here, chefcharlescarroll.com, and there's a picture that stands out to me. It's a picture of you holding a woman, and she's crying.
Mm.
You do a lot of speaking. Do you recall the story behind this image?
Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps. You're gonna make me emotional. That was Afghanistan, and further down you'll see a video link from that. Joey, I've been blessed to do some really crazy things, amazing things in my life, and to accomplish. And that one that you're looking at is probably one of the most amazing times in my life, where we put together a team of 20 celebrities and 10 support team that we hired from Kuwait, and we went over to Afghanistan on 2 different occasions, but that occasion was Kandahar, and we did 5 shows. We fed 5,000 troops a Cajun Creole meal, and we gave away 5 ton of gifts. And the main show, which is that one you're looking at there, was a 7-hour show that we did for probably 20,000 troops that were on the base. And that young lady was Captain Myers, and she's a wonderful woman. And she was my boots on the ground to help organize the show. And then the way the story goes is it was her birthday the day before that day, and I didn't find that out until the day that we were leaving. By the way, we were leaving with 30,000 pounds of show gear, and nobody has ever done this in the history of no civilian, and so it takes a year, 14 months to organize all of this. And she was my boots on the ground. We were emailing and texting and Skyping 3-4 times a week for 14 months. And I found out the day I was leaving, it was her birthday. And so I said, oh my God, I got to do something. So I started calling around frantically and got all the connections and of her family and her friends back home, her dog and her relatives, and asked them to quickly put together a video. And they said, well, I didn't think it was going to happen. It was impossible. And I was getting ready to get on a plane. And I said, you got to do this. You have to do it. You don't have a choice. Then I called my videographer. I said, look, I need a favor. He said, I don't have time. I said, you got to do it. And so long story short, these people did some videos from their iPhones, sent them to my videographer. He put together an amazingly emotional clip saying happy birthday to her. They put it in a Dropbox. We landed in Kuwait. We downloaded it. And then in the middle of the show, I made a joke. I said, I just found out that our very, very special person, Captain Myers, it's her birthday. So the crowd went nuts and gave her, a round of applause. I said, I've been shopping all over Afghanistan, and I just couldn't find anything that I thought that would be great for her. But I did manage to find something. And then we went to video, and that's when she saw her family, and it was very, very emotional.
Wow, Chef, that's an incredible story. I mean, I couldn't imagine the logistics that went into making that happen. But I'd imagine it's a little bit about like running a high-profile kitchen, right, with a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic. Hopefully, the dynamic in our kitchen is, we have 6 kitchens here. I have 75 employees, 3 restaurants, and we do about 80 to 100 functions a week. And it's a busy operation. So this is very, very controlled atmosphere. We have a lot of fantastic chefs, leaders in my kitchen that I trust will do a great job. And And my job here, Joey, is to create an amazing environment where people can be successful and make sure that they have everything they can have to be successful, and then get out of the way and communicate with them as much as possible. Those kind of dreams, the other things in my life, Afghanistan twice is certainly on the top of that list. Those are blood, sweat, and tears. Those are pounding and pounding and pounding on doors until they finally open. And if that could be anything, if your listeners learn anything from me today, I would encourage them to dare to dream. You got to dare to dream, and then once you dare yourself to dream, have the courage to go chase after them and jump and go for those dreams. And then thirdly, don't stop until it happens. And I've done that all my life, and I could tell you probably a dozen stories that they seemed impossible, but we just got. In fact, I got 2 of them that we were working on earlier this morning that are coming to fruition, that are just wonderful goals that we've set and that we're hitting. So you got to dare to jump.
Well, Chef, I definitely don't want to spoil the surprise of the new initiatives that you're working on, unless you want to break the news here. But do you have a story that you could share about a goal that you went after and you were able to get it?
Well, yeah, I will share it with you. Of course, I'm dreaming about things today or accomplishing things today that I wasn't even dreaming about in January. That's how cool life is. That's what living in America is wonderful, and what you do with your opportunities.
Yeah.
We started a podcast. I'm trying to be like you too, Joey. And we started a podcast a couple months ago, and it's doing very, very well. And it's also called The Recipe: Celebrity Secrets to a Successful Life. And we got some amazing guests on there, and that's going well. So we're very pleased with that. The book, The Recipe, that I've co-authored with John David Mann, one of the best authors in the country today, just launched this week, and we're so proud of the success it's already having. Amazon ran out the first day, and so we're really excited about that. And when I wrote it, the manuscript 7 years ago, I wrote it dreaming. I'm a dreamer, and dreaming for it to become a movie. That was 7 years ago. I know nothing about movies. I don't today. But through our power of connection, through our power of networks, and through the power of never giving up and pounding on the door until you can get that door open and go to the next one that's locked, we are in serious movie discussions right now. And the stars are so beautifully lined up on this that it's scary. I don't want to jinx it, but
yes.
So we're talking about movies now. So that's a small example.
Well, Chef, I am rooting for you 100%, and I wanted to call out to our listeners here. You can check out the book on Amazon. It's The Recipe: A Story of Loss, Love, and the Ingredients of Greatness. And here in this first paragraph, as a call out to one of the quotes in the book, it says, "Always be hungry. Don't ever let life just wash over you. Savor it, every smell, every taste, every sound. That's rule number 1. Taste everything." What does that quote mean to you? Is that from personal experience, or is that a really good just part of the manuscript, or is that sort of a mantra that you live by?
Well, a lot of things, Joey. First of all, in the kitchen, believe it or not, I told you how busy we are. Sometimes you find people punching in and punching out, just trying to get the job done because we're so busy. They may not have the dream to be an amazing chef or, to own their own restaurant or to be an executive chef. Not all of my 75 employees have that same dream. I do have a couple dozen that do. But we are so busy, sometimes they're just making the food and getting it on a plate and get it out because we just got to get it out. We have maybe 10 parties a day, so sometimes it's all you can do just to get the food out. So, many times believe it or not, I have to encourage my people to slow down. You got to taste the food. Did you taste this? Yes. So that's one of our guiding principles. Taste everything, even if it's not in your department. You got to taste everything. And so that's a real rule number one in our own guiding principles here at the kitchen, in our club here. And then, of course, in the book, The Recipe, it's a beautiful parable, and there's rules of the kitchen with a crusty old military chef, and then there's rules of life, savory everything. So the beauty behind The Recipe is it's a very passionate, very warm, it's a emotional roller coaster ride you're going to take with us. It's about a little boy who gets himself in trouble at a very young age. He's mad at the world. He's mad at God. His dad dies at a very young age, and then he finds himself getting in trouble. And then this crusty old military chef, he owns a diner in the New England town where I came from, and he sees the boy getting in trouble, and he pulls him in. And each chapter is a life lesson, and each chapter they cook something together. So usually when I say that, a light bulb goes off with whoever I'm talking with, that it's a beautiful marriage, that food has so much to do with life.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking forward to the book. I know it just released October 17th. And we are joined, for those of you that are just tuning in, with Chef Charles Carroll, who is an 8-time winner of the Culinary Olympics. And he is also the executive chef at River Oaks Country Club in Houston, Texas. Oh, Chef, I just want to say that I have taken a listen to your podcast. I actually listened to this morning the Graham Elliott edition. You have a lot of things on your plate, pun intended. But how do you manage to juggle and prioritize and multitask, doing so many things at such a high level of excellence?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, Joey. I think that, the first answer would be that my family is, first off, amazingly, ridiculously understanding, or understanding as much as possible. Because that's hard, right? Because, to try to accomplish so much, it takes away family time, and sometimes when your day off, when you're at home, you're still working. So it takes, that's rule number one. You got to have a support team in your home that either understands it or at least puts up with it. And then after that is, surrounding yourself with really good people. My team, my club is amazing. My personal assistant is amazing, and I keep throwing all these balls in the air and hope that she catches them. My philosophy is also if we're going to do something, we're going to sink our teeth in it, and man, we're going to do it. I just had an amazing meeting earlier this morning with a company that we're actually working on some short films and a TV show as well, and it's all kind of interconnected. And the meeting I had this morning, what was so beautiful and magical about it, Joey, was that this gentleman knew me, and I was asking for support on the project, and he was basically saying, Chef, you don't have to tell me anymore. If you say you're going to do this, I know it's going to be lights out. So, there's no better feeling than that if Chef Carroll is going to do a project, it's going to be something that you're going to read about, or it's going to be amazing over the top. So, to get good people, surround yourself with good people, and make them all do whatever you can, that everyone's vested in the project and everybody's part of the project. And just keep dreaming, you got to keep chewing off the end of the table to do whatever it takes. And I'm asked that question all the time, how do you do it, or why do you do it? I don't know what the real answer is, but I guess there's this burning passion in me, this burning thing inside me that has to continue to accomplish things. And I always say that life is a series of wins. You got to get a win here and there. It's like putting gas in your tank, and if I don't get a win at least once a week, I start to get, upset. I start to get, it puts me in a bad mood. A win could be, something as simple as talking with you today. I'm honored to be on your show. That's a win. A win was the phone call I had this morning with a gentleman who's backing my project, and those kinds of things. So life is we go through life by the ones, one at a time.
I love it. Chef, I mentioned that you're at the River Oaks Country Club, and I know that you all are also rebounding from the recent hurricane that hit the area. How has that impacted your club, and what's been the toughest leadership challenge you've experienced in dealing with this tragedy?
Well, thank you for that, Joey. It was a surreal, emotional time. I mean, it's you just can't imagine. You know, water was 20 to sometimes 40 feet high in some areas. If you can just imagine that for a second. My drive to work was 20 feet underwater. Our family, my kids, my family, and I, we were all safe. We were blessed. We were safe and dry and had power. But we were flooded in, so nobody could come in and we couldn't get out, but we were safe, so we were okay. But the problem with the emotional part of it is that we couldn't get out. We had a lot of dear friends that were getting flooded, and we couldn't do a damn thing about it, and that hurt. And but you know, Houston is strong, and it's amazing. And we were feeding some first responders for a week or so. We were sending out meals to them. We had 30 employees that were significantly affected, and 11 of which were catastrophically affected. In fact, I got a stack of checks. I'm looking at them right now on my desk that we're going to give out for the third time to our employees. 11 of them lost. The only thing they had was the clothes on their body, and it's a tragic thing that happened to them. But they really couldn't be in a better property than River Oaks Country Club if something like this were to strike, because the membership is amazing. So how it affected me as a manager, or challenges that we had, I don't know that we had any challenges because everybody comes together. You know, it was beautiful. We didn't have to ask for donations. You know, it's just the challenges is trying to handle all the donations. That was probably the biggest challenge. So we're getting everybody back on their feet, and we're well on our way. And I thank you for asking.
That's great. That's great to know that your challenge is what to do with all of the surplus of blessings. That's incredible. That's right. Well, hey Chef, we're getting ready to land this plane soon, and I also want to plug again your book. It's called The Recipe: A Story of Loss, Love, and the Ingredients of Greatness. You can find that on Amazon, and you can also visit Chef's site at chefcharlescarroll.com. Chef, I want to end the show with just a final parting quote. If you have a quote that's memorable to you, or a book that stands out to you as one that is pivotal to your success, just something tangible that you could leave with our audience today.
I appreciate that, Joey, and yet if I could just encourage all your listeners to, if you do go to get the book, to leave us a comment. As you know, that's what makes the world go round. Leave us a review. Same thing on that and the Recipe podcast as well, and on your podcast. This is what makes the world goes round. This is what helps us bring our show to you. So, yeah, I think that there was a movie. I'm trying to think of the name of it now, with Sean Connery, and I think it was William Forrester. It was about Finding Forrester. That was the name
Forrester,
of it.
Yes.
You know the movie?
I do, yes.
Yeah, I love this movie, and what I love about it is for some reason, Joey, after 10 years or so, this thing is still in my head, and for your listeners out there, Sean Connery, we all love him, and he's this retired one-hit wonder author, and very famous book. And this young black gentleman who's a student going to school. He was studying to be a writer, and he stumbles on. He finds the secretive Forrester and realizes he's the real deal. And so he asked him for coaching lessons, and he said, "Okay, I'll do it, but you got to keep your mouth shut, never to tell anybody you've met me." And so they agreed, and so they started these lessons once a week or whatever it was. And the boy came in, and he was in a bad way, and he was sitting in front of him. He's sitting in front of the typewriter, and he's just staring at the thing. And Sean Connery finally yells at him. He says, "Just get started. Start punching the keys. Start punching the keys." And I associate that so much with life. You know, you got to start punching the keys. If you want to get something accomplished, don't sit on your couch and say, I could never do that. I could never do what that guy is doing. I could never do what Chef Carroll is doing. I could never do what Joey Price is doing because, you know, those guys have that, but I could never do that. You got to start punching the keys. And as sure as I'm sitting here today, Joey, I know that to be true, that once you get started and pound on the doors and just, you know, you got to be okay with the process. You know, and I don't want to be a cliche, but you know, I don't failures. I don't call them failures. I call them they're kind of redirect you, and I'm okay. I had a phone call yesterday on another project that it wasn't what we wanted to hear, but it's not a failure. What it has done is just say, okay, well, the expert said we shouldn't really go that direction, so we're just going to take a little bit of a right turn now. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. You got to be okay with the journey and just keep moving forward and just start punching the keys.
Chef, you're the man, and next time I'm in Houston, I've got to stop by and pay you a visit. Hey
man, please do. You know you have a warm meal and a cup of coffee waiting for you. Please do.
I'm going to take you up on that.
You got it, man.
All right. Thank you for joining us on the Business Life and Coffee podcast, where every conversation makes you a better entrepreneur and win in life beyond business. Be sure to leave a 5-star review on iTunes if you like the show, and find me on Twitter and Instagram at JoeyVPriceHR to take the conversation further. Until next time.
Why take away time from what you're good at, only to focus on difficult, pesky HR problems? Jumpstart HR LLC offers a better solution. Jumpstart HR provides HR outsourcing support to U.S.-based small businesses and startups, and was recently ranked among the top 10 HR outsourcing firms in the country, according to BusinessNewsDaily.com. From recruitment to employee handbooks to legal compliance, Jumpstart HR helps you get peace of mind about the people in your business. Visit jumpstart-hr.com for more information or follow on Twitter at JumpstartHR. Jumpstart HR. Let's build a better business together.
Thanks for listening to the Business, Life, and Coffee Show with Joey Price. We hope you're inspired to become the best version of yourself after listening to our guest. What thought or idea stood out the most to you? Keep the conversation going by tweeting the show at BizLifeCoffee or our host at JoeyVPriceHR with the hashtag BLCMoments. And if you like what you just heard, pass along our podcast to at least 5 people. Detailed show notes can be found at www.businesslifeandcoffee.com, and our full archive is available on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and Google Play. This has been a Jumpstart HR production. Join us next time for another edition of the Business, Life, and Coffee Show.